The 737th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMASGPN to get a 50% deposit bonus of up to $1,000.
Howdy ho, it's Jen Marino. Welcome to episode 737 of the MMA Gambling Podcast and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to the prospect killer, Christian Rodriguez. Gumby wanted me to dedicate it to Puna Soriano, but I did not pick Puna Soriano last night, so I picked someone that Gumby and I were both in on. The prospect killer is his new nickname, C-Rod. Plus 225 hit for both of us last night, and that fight played out pretty much the way we had predicted it would go, so that was good to see. But this is not a UFC episode, as you can see by the title. It's actually an episode that got more hits than UFC back in the day. I don't know if it was a fluke or not, but we'll find out. It's UAE Warriors, who, it averages more per episode than the UFC does. Hey, maybe we're a UAE Warriors episode. Maybe there's a whole bunch of you in the UAE Warriors. We shall find out. They're running two events this coming, I want to say weekend, but it's week. I think it's Thursday and Friday. So we're going to cover both of them, starting with UAE Warriors 56 today. Who am I? I'm the Canadian capitalist, Jeff Fox. Thank you to, I can't even remember, someone in the Discord gave me that name, and I appreciate it. The man on the left you see there is Gumby Vreeland. He is the man. I'll give him his flowers, as the kids like to say, an expression I truly hate. He went 10-4 last night with UFC. I went 8-6, but more importantly, Gumby and up $267. I was down 183, $100 in every fight. So, Gumby, early lead. Hello.
Yeah, that was, I have to say, here's the only problem I have with Christian Rodriguez. Love that he hit for us at 225. Love that he fought exactly the way he needed to win that fight. Love that he sort of exposed Austin Boshi in the way that I thought he was going to. All that's great. And I keep seeing these graphics about him taking people's zeros. And the Cameron Simon one makes me feel warm inside and fuzzy. The Raul Rosas Jr. one, I'm sort of indifferent to, but it's a great win. And then on top of that, like, he didn't beat Isaac Dalgarian. And that's what, like, kind of bums me out. Because, like, there's no way he won that fight. And I know he won it on the judges' scorecards, but there's no way he won that fight. I'm a big Isaac Dalgarian fan. So I just keep seeing these graphics of being like, yeah, he has cashed in a bunch of ways for us. I had him as an underdog in the Cameron Simon fight. I had him in an underdog here. He is clearly a guy who, like, tests people's mettle, right? Like, he's a guy who, if you haven't been put through the ringer yet, he'll put you through the ringer. But I don't think he beat Dalgarian. And it's like always just like a bummer that pops up on the graphics that are on his, that are tooting his horn, so to speak.
Yeah. Well, tough. The prospect killer rolls on. 2 weight classes now too. He's killing all the featherweights now.
Yeah. Everybody thought it was going to be a problem for him up there too. But, like, the point was he was too big.
Yeah, exactly.
For middleweight. So, like, he'll be fine at featherweight. There are divisions that go up 10 pounds. And, like, he was maybe 3 or 4 pounds too heavy for this. Like, he's a natural featherweight. And also, like, his style is not contingent upon being the bully. It's sort of contingent upon being the anti-bully. So
floating around.
Yeah. And so, the speed probably played up a weight class too. So I don't think it's going to cause him problems.
Yeah, no, he looked big enough in there for sure. Bashi's a big boy. He used to be a bantamweight too, but nonetheless, who do you want him to kill? What prospect should he kill next? And then we can move on.
I mean, he should probably fight up, to be honest. Like, I know everybody thinks this is like a fun joke and stuff like that, but it is time for him to, like, get somebody with a couple of wins and not somebody fresh off the street,
Yeah, it's true.
And so, like, hopefully that's what he gets.
Yep. True. It's not a Christian Rodriguez podcast, but I wouldn't mind if it wasn't. I like the guy.
It could become one.
Yeah, I like the guy. He came through. All right, before we get into the meat of anything else from last night's UFC that you think should be covered?
You wrote off Puna Soriano's strike.
Yeah, I did.
And he knocked a guy out in 31 seconds.
2 straight wins now at welterweight. So maybe you're right. Maybe that's the antidote. Sometimes changing weight classes work. That's why every fighter clings to it as a hope, because occasionally it does work. Yep. Normally it doesn't, but yeah, maybe in his case it's actually going to work. So we can talk more UFC on Wednesday, because this is a UFC week coming up. Before we get into UAE Warriors, NFL players are here. Players, NFL playoffs. I think I said players. Let's start again. The NFL playoffs are here. Make sure you tune into the Sports Gambling Podcast for all of your NFL picks and props, despite them, SGPN being in the heart of the horrific wildfires, that they're still pumping out content for you. So make sure you check out all their NFL plays, and hope everyone out there is safe who is tuning in here. Hopefully you're not. Maybe we're creating a diversion or distraction for you. I'm saying hopefully you're not watching this goofy show if there's more serious things going on, but maybe this is good for you. Who's to say? People seem to like Gumby. They're indifferent to me, but no, actually maybe a little less than indifferent to me. But people like Gumby. People even go up to the bosses and tell them that they love Gumby. So there you go. And Gumby, he can rest on his laurels knowing he's 2 fights and about 500 or 400 bucks ahead of me this year. So you actually
big start.
Thoughts on the UAE Warriors? Well, we've covered them a few times before. As I said, we got massive hits on one of the events for some reason, but we're hopefully we'll do it again. Quality Middle Eastern promotion, running 2 events this coming week.
Yeah, they always come with bangers up top, which I really appreciate. I do think this card, this first one, kind of got ravaged by injuries a little bit.
Right up to our recording.
Yeah, Omar Shaban was supposed to fight on this card against Teo Odunjo, and Shaban fell off that fight because Odunjo, I don't know if you saw this, Odunjo actually did get another fight. We actually named an episode off of Teo Odunjo. Did you remember that?
No, but I remember the name.
It was Teo Odunjo math or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, we did some MMA math with Teo Odunjo.
Yep.
So like that fight was going to be a banger up top. Shaban leaving kind of is a bummer now. So the first of the 2 fight cards took a little bit of a hit. It's also one of those ones where they're doing gimmicky fights. This one is themed Africa versus Arabia, which I think kind of fell apart when some of these fights fell apart. Like now there's a British guy in there or something like that. Like there's a Finnish guy in there. Like they clearly had to like give up on that after a while. But like, sometimes when you do gimmicky fights like that, you get a couple of mismatches, which I think we have here. I like tomorrow's the cover card we're going to cover tomorrow a touch better. But yeah, they're always a quality regional promotion.
Yeah, Arabia versus Africa with a Canadian in the main event, Gumby.
Yeah, I think they were real liberal with their Arabia side. Like it seems like if you had a couple of grandparents who might have come from the right place, they adopted you.
If your name looks okay enough, then they'll let you in. But hey, we don't really care where the people are from, where the fights are. UAE Warriors, a pretty quality promotion. It's on is it on UFC Fight Pass or not?
It's been on UFC Fight Pass. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's not listed, but I'm pretty sure I had watched it on Fight Pass. I assume these
I have in the past. It would suck if it's gone.
Yeah. Okay. This one is not listed. I can look it up anyhow, but you people are all have ways to find how to watch things, I'm sure. And this one is a Thursday morning one, which super degen special for sure. I guess no one really works anymore, right? Everyone just works at home, right? And so you can, you can watch.
UAE Warriors will be on Fight Pass starting 10 a.m. on Thursday.
Perfect. Yes, 10 a.m. Thank you, Gumby. January the 16th, UAE Warriors 56 Arabia versus Africa, which is, I like the name. I like the theme type fight cards. I like when the UFC did. Remember the full heavyweight?
I love that card.
Main pay-per-view card, and they used to do like America versus Brazil and stuff like that. That stuff's fun. I think smaller promotions should lean into it more often than they do. UFC really doesn't need to or can't be bothered, but smaller promotions, I'm all for it. So all right, this one's going down in Abu Dhabi, which is I think their home base, right, for UAE Warriors.
Yeah.
Okay, Space 42 Arena, 11 fights, as we said, 10 a.m. Eastern start time. 11 bouts on the card. We are doing in-depth breakdowns on 5. We actually did breakdowns on 6 or 7, but fights kept falling through right up to recording time. So we're going to soldier on regardless. We're starting things up. We didn't discuss the order. Hopefully we have the same order. I'm going off Tapology order, Gumby, and we're starting with 194-pound fights. Does that sound right to you?
That's right. Let's do it.
194-pound. There's a few weird catchweight fights here too. Khaled Laallam, Laallam. Interesting last name. Mamurjon. Actually, Laallam is from Sweden. I should tell you that first. Lots of different flags on the event. I'm going to have fun with that. Mamurjon Khamidov. He is from Uzbekistan. How did I do with the names?
Laallam, I believe, is the last
name.
Okay,
cool.
Khaled Laallam.
Oh, that's not as fun, but I did okay with Mamurjon Khamidov.
Yes, that one's fun.
There's enough UFC fighters with similar names that I can get by. No odds yet, correct, for this event? Are they just an offshore type of thing? I haven't bet on UAE before.
Warriors. Yeah, they appear in random spots. I'd say they appear in more spots sometimes when you can get like a down UFC week. But them being midweek sort of helps them out across the board.
That's true. Yep. All right, let's break it down. Khamidov first is 7-5, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been knocked out twice, submitted once. 0-1 in UAE Warriors. 0-4 over his last 4. 1-5 over his last 6. Yikes. He's fought. This is at 194 pounds. That the coveted weight class. He has fought 155, 185, and 205. He's 3 years younger than Laallam. Laallam 5-0, 1 knockout, 2 submissions. 3-0 in UAE Warriors. Used to fight at 185 and 205, so this is right in the sweet spot for him, I guess. 0-1 in pro grappling, 3 inches of height over Khamidov. How easy? I guess if it's on Fight Pass, it's pretty easy for you to get film on these guys, right?
Yeah, not all of them have necessarily fought for UAE Warriors, but most of them have. And all of them here should be a huge favorite for multiple reasons. Number one, Khamidov's recent record is absolute trash. He's lost like 5 out of his last 6 fights, I believe you just said. He's looked real brutal lately. And really, if you look at his record too, it's just like he crushed cans until he had a good record, and then good promotion started snatching him up, and he started getting smushed in those. Yeah. And the bottom line is it's because, first of all, he's got big, wide punches that he throws that sort of leave him off balance. And as a result, he's got kind of crappy grappling. For a guy whose last name is Khamidov, you might expect, like a pretty good grappler. I mean, I've seen him taken down. I've seen him off balance trying his own takedowns. Basically, this is a guy who needs to be fighting 2 and 3 guys in order to win. And Laallam, is really technical on the feet. He's particularly patient. But when he does start landing with his punches, they really pour on. So, like, in this case, you're going to have a guy who's throwing really wide punches in Khamidov, not really coming all that close on very many of them. And you're going to have Laallam just picking him apart, probably frustrating him, and probably tiring him out too. Khamidov, the way he throws, it doesn't look like he's got more than 4 minutes of cardio in him throwing like that. Many of his fights have not lasted long enough for me to know whether or not he's got more than 4.5 minutes of cardio. So, yeah, I think Khaled Laallam should be, like I said, like a 4-1 favorite here, and he'll be my pick. I'll take Laallam.
Boo! I'm sure he has a dog cooked up for us somewhere. Don't worry. All right, let's move on to where is this one? Is this one on? Yes, it is on Topology. We're moving up the card, down the weight class. Flyweights next. Maysara Mohamed versus Jake Bron. Bron is from the Philippines, I believe. Is that correct?
Right.
And Mohamed's from Egypt. 3 5-minute rounds, 125, so that'll be fun. Bron is Venom. Bron, 3-1, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. He's finished everyone. He owes us rounds. He himself, I forgot to write down the he himself part. Has he been finished or has he not? We're going to check, ladies and gentlemen, live in the air. He has never been finished himself. He still owes us rounds regardless. This is his debut in UAE Warriors. A TKO win in his last fight. Regional champ, 9 years younger than Mohamed. Mohamed's 8-1-1 with 5 knockouts. He's been submitted once. He's fought once in this promotion. He's 2-1 over his last 3. Win, loss, win is the pattern. Regional champ, used to fight at bantamweight, 2 inches of height over Bron. Was Bron easy to find film on? Should I not ask?
Not super easy, but I did dig, and I got a chance to see him a couple of times. Look, it's kind of funny. When I was watching him, I was like, is he going to do anything except for throw this 1-2 combination? It was like 1-2 combination, set his feet again, 1-2 combination, set his feet again, 1-2 combination, set his feet again. Then he got taken down and from the seat of his pants threw a 1-2 combination. It was wild. And like continued to throw, like he was in like a seated position up against the cage. He proceeded to throw the combination he kept throwing when he was standing. And so like, The striking is really rote out of Bron from what I can see. He's very aggressive, but also like it looks like he's hitting pads in the combination order his coach told him to. And Mohamed, I like some things about Mohamed's wrestling game. I don't really love the double leg out of him, but Maysara Mohamed has a really nice high crotch single. I've seen him pick a couple of people up with it and then like drop them on their head and go right to side control. And against Bron, who I've seen kind of taken down super easily, I think that should be enough here. he's another guy who, I mentioned in the last fight that Laallam is super patient. Mohamed is another guy who I've seen kind of doesn't put his foot on the gas all that much, but with Bron throwing the types of strikes he is, where he throws the same combination over and over again and he gets in his face, I think the chance to counter and the chance to get the job done that way should be enough. So I'm going to go with Mohamed. I don't think I ever mentioned a line. I think, they both kind of have nice records, right? That nobody's looking all that shoddy here. I'm going to say like negative 200 for Mohamed. Like, I think he should be a favorite in the fact that, he's a, Middle Eastern guy representing the Middle East on a Middle Eastern card. Probably isn't going to hurt him. In the Philippines, not necessarily known for having, really great wrestlers out there. So I'm going to go with Mohamed here.
I think Bron just needs to read more of the manual that comes with the game. I think he just knows how to do two moves, right?
He's button mashing right now. He's button mashing.
Yeah, exactly. He's got to grab some different buttons. All right, before we move on, what are we telling you about first? DraftKings, of course. Playoffs. We're talking about playoffs. We sure are. You bet we are getting on the action. That's DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the number one place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Not just MMA, not just NFL. Obviously, tons of MMA lines that we're always quoting the lines on the show here that they got in DraftKings. So new DraftKings customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Thanks. Bye. He left. I wanted to ask him his thoughts on UAE Warriors, but he is gone already. But thank you for reading all the stuff that I don't have to read. Let's move on. It's fun when I read it, though. I know people enjoy it. Third from the top, another amazing weight class, 151 pounds, Gumby.
I think it's listed on their site as 150-pound catch weight. Okay. But Tapology has this one at 50 and the next one at 61.
They're probably going off kilos, right? More than likely.
Yeah, I think either they're going off of kilos or this is one of those ones where Tapology for some reason lists their 1 pound allotment already.
Oh, okay.
Which they occasionally do weirdly. So I think it might be that too.
Slimen, Hassaini, great name from Belgium. Lucky, Magekha, another great name from South Africa. 3 5-minute rounds, 150, 151. Call it whatever you like. I'll tell you about Magekha first. Hercules. I know that movie, Gumby. He's 4-0. 4-0 with 2 knockouts. There you go. I don't know if I've seen all of it, but I know, obviously I know that part. This Hercules, Lucky Hercules. If your name's Lucky, you really don't need a nickname, but nonetheless, he's 4-0 with 2 knockouts. As I said, this is his debut in the promotion. Won his last fight via TKO. Used to fight at 145 and 140. So he's fought at interesting weight classes. 1 year younger than Hassaini. Hassaini is 3-0 with 2 submissions. 1-0 in UAE Warriors. Won his last fight via submission. Used to fight at 145, 7 inches taller. 7 inches taller, yes, than Magekha. I think this is like a 6'5" battle.
Just like you know how I love me a short king too. I'm gonna take the short king in this one. I think this is gonna be a pick'em. Just because of how wild the stylistic matchup is. Like, this could look really bad one way or the other. Like, if you watch Magekha, this dude is an absolute maniac in there. He's a brawler. He seems like he's out of control all the time. He's got super power, though, because the way he winds up on his shots when he's blitzing forward and stuff like that. And he also hits, like, some really gnarly low leg kicks that I think could be of real use to him here. And if you watch Hassaini, he is bad on the feet. He is so stiff. His chin is way up in the air. I've watched somebody like leg kick him like 31 times in a row and he just takes it and then like limps around the cage. But his jiu-jitsu is nasty. Like if you get him on the mat, like I watched one of his fights and I was like, am I sure he's supposed to win this fight? Am I sure I have the right guy I'm watching? Because I was like, there's no way this guy wins this fight. And then somebody leg kicks him, he falls down, and he's within seconds he's got a heel hook. And like maybe the guy he was fighting's grappling defense could have used some help, but Magekha is like, first of all, to be at 140, 145 pounds and only 5'5", obviously, this dude is built like a refrigerator. Like he is so friggin' strong, and he's in that brawler mentality. So yeah, could he get off balance and get caught? Maybe, but like also I could see him coming out, just ripping that leg enough to do damage, and then like really pouring on some ground and pound. So I'm going to say this fight, probably a pick 'em. I'm still not in on a dog yet, probably a pick 'em. And I'm going to take Magekha. I think the brawling holds up, and that chin up in the air is begging for him to touch it.
Sounds fun to me. A little fire hydrant in the brawl sounds fun. So get him on Contender Series, right? At the very least.
I don't know if he's ready for that yet.
Eventually. All right, so that was Magekha, your third winning pick in a row, obviously, because all these are going to hit. All right, what are we moving on to next? Go main event time already. Omar Tugarev, he is from Sweden. Does that sound right? Yes. Finland, Sweden.
Oh, Finland.
Finland, yes. Finnish. I knew the flags was from that area. All right, and who is he fighting now that I've got out of the Tapology screen? He is fighting Humphrey Mulenga, another great name. He is from an African country, I can tell by the South Africa for him as well. Is that what flag he's repping here?
I think he trains
Zambia.
Yeah, he's Zambian. Yeah.
Zambian. Very nice. All right. 3 5-minute rounds, 161. So 160 pounds, I guess, is the catchweight here. Mulenga, King Cobra. 6-2, 5 knockouts, 1 submission. He's finished everyone. He's been submitted once. That means he owes his rounds. 1-0 in this promotion, UAE Warriors. Lost his last fight via submission. He's fight at 155 and 170. 2 years younger than Tugarev. 5-0, 2 knockouts, 3 submissions. So he finished everyone. He owes his rounds as well. 2-0 in UAE Warriors. He's fought at every weight class. 155, 170, 185. Twitch and Charlotte and Mulenga. So we got an EV. Is he going to wrestle?
I think he's going to try. So I think he's going to be a big favorite here. I'm going to say like 325. And I think it's because, you see Mulenga, he lost his last fight by submission. And you see Tugarev, clearly a guy who likes to wrestle. But I'm actually going to sprinkle on the big dog here. This is going to be my big dog of the day, Humphrey Mulenga. I bet you plus 300. It's somewhere in that range. And the reason I like him is because if you watch Tugarev, I know he's been winning fights with his wrestling, and I see some of that wrestling on the film. But my big problem is where he comes in on those takedowns. Like if you watch any of the film, like the first 3 or 4 takedowns he shoots in just about every single fight, his shoulder makes contact with like the bottom of the rib cage as he shoots for a double, or just a touch below that at the very best. He's nowhere near the hips for a lot of these. Sometimes he tries to readjust and get down on the hips, which is like, that's fine if you're like up against the guy who can't deal with that. But I really do think Mulenga can deal with it. He's really strong physically. He digs an underhook early. He does have a tendency to muscle a little bit too much, but if the guy he's fighting is being sloppy with his entry, muscling it a little bit isn't like the worst deal ever. I think he's more powerful in terms of his striking. I don't necessarily know that he's more technical in terms of his striking. He's not, as completely out of control as Magekha is, but Mulenga is a guy who, again, would prefer that this be a little messy. And if Tugarev keeps shooting these takedowns where he comes in, under the rib cage and he tries to shoot a really terrible takedown up against the guy who's so much stronger, I can't imagine that's going to lend all itself, well to keeping this fight in like a, in a place where he's not going to run out of gas. And then on top of that, Tugarev winds up in a lot of clinches, and Mulenga does really good damage in the clinch. I like his knees. I like his uppercuts from a collar tie. There's a lot of things he does in the clinch that are good. So I think at some point in time here, he probably catches Tugarev, especially as he tires from his repeatedly failed takedowns.
All right, so there you go. Hopefully a big dog, and he's not just taking a crazy dog pick. He told you why it's going to hit. So that's the important thing. All right, before we get to the last fight and lightning round, hey, you queued it up perfectly again. Underdog time, and you picked a massive underdog. Underdog Pick'em is one of the biggest menus for all sports. Underdog is always making it easier to win with profit boosts and gimme pick'ems. The Gummy's making it easy with the transitions for me. Underdog Playoff Best Ball is now live. The Gauntlet Tournament has $2 million in prizes up for grabs for just a $25 entry. They got NFL, they got college football. This is one college football game left of the year. So get in while you can. College basketball, MMA, NBA, NASCAR, and more. And you can now use specials and boosts and all flex entries. Gummy maybe has an Al Horford play, maybe not.
No, I'm gonna kick it over to basketball. We've got the Grizzlies playing the Rockets on Monday. Not on Sunday, on Monday. And I'm gonna take the lower than on Alperen Sengun's. I know I'm saying it's Sengun, right? Or Sengun.
Yeah.
I say his name wrong every single time.
It should be Şengün. I think it may be Şengün.
Şengün.
Alperen Şengün.
Alperen Şengün, the Turkish fella.
Yes.
I'm going to take the lower than on his rebounds. You got a rebound in there with Jaren Jackson and Zach Edey. Those rebounds, they become a little bit more scarce. So I'm going to take the lower than on his rebounds on Monday.
You mentioned a Canadian, and we're going to talk about another Canadian very shortly. Sign up with the code MMASGPN. That's the important thing. If you like us in your offices, MMASGPN helps everyone out. I'll tell you why it helps you out. Because if you do that, you get to claim a special pick and a first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cashes. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. Shouts out to Al Horford. The ad read that you were included in, that I included you in, is no longer here. But maybe hopefully they'll sponsor us again soon, and I can start talking about you more organically. Al Horford. All right, this is the main event. It's a bantamweight fight. It's got a Canadian in it. That would be Xavier Alaoui. Have we talked about him before? I think I remember saying that fun last name.
I think so. Maybe the last time we did UAE Warriors.
Okay, yeah. And Demarte Pena, I think we might have mentioned before as well.
We've talked about a bunch. Yep.
Yeah, he is from Angola. These guys are fighting 3 5-minute rounds. They're fighting at 135. And after I get to the right tab, I'm going to tell you all about Pena first. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the Wolf. 15-2 with 2 submissions, 2 knockouts, 15-2 with 2 no contests, 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. So he doesn't finish people. He owes his finishes. He's been only finished himself once. 1-0 in UAE Warriors. He's won 4 of 5, including his last fight. Finally, I can say it, he has multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. I'm wearing it right now. SportsGamblingPodcast.com/store. Get sticky. We had a new one last night in the Discord I had to get rid of. It was like, hit me up. I can't remember what the guy told us to hit him up with. It was like, just hit him up with some word. Yeah. And anyhow, I wish I could remember it. Oh, well.
That's Union slang. That's all that is.
No, it was, I can't remember what it was. It was like not kill, but it was like power or some, just like a basic word. Hit me up with that in the DMs, and I'll get you all the wing picks. Pena used to fight at 145, 2011 Pro MMA debut. The Bread Man. So the Bread Man versus the Wolf. Doesn't sound like a very fair matchup to me. The Bread Man is Alaoui. He probably is like really a baker or something, right? That's probably.
I have no idea.
I'm thinking Bread has the money, but no, he's probably breaks. He probably works in a bakery. He is 14-6, 1 knockout, 6 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. 4-2 in UAE Warriors. Used to be the champion 2 times in this here promotion. He's lost 2 straight fights. Before that, he won 2 straight. He got submitted in his last fight. He went 0-1 in PFL, 2014 Pro MMA debut. 2 years younger than Pena, 5 inches of reach on the Wolf.
Yeah, I think Pena is going to be a massive favorite here. My guess is like 375 or something like that.
Okay.
I'm going to pick Demarte Pena. I will say if his number is all the way up there, I would probably just hesitate ever so slightly because, as you mentioned, he is a guy who doesn't finish anybody. And Alaoui, he's a really great counter puncher. One of the things I like about him is the way that when he does counter, he doesn't counter with just a shot. He counters with multiple shots. But the big problem I have with him, actually, it's twofold. The twofold problem I have with him is, first of all, he just is in the pocket way too long. He'll throw and then just chill there. But then again, Pena's not finishing anybody. And then second of all, the way that he plants his feet and hangs in that pocket often leads to him getting taken down, which I think Pena could do here too. It should not be as wide as -375 if that is where it comes in. That's sort of my prediction. Pena's got a great record. You mentioned he's only been knocked out once. It was by Taylor Lopoulos, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a good record. I just don't think Alaoui is going to avoid those takedowns and avoid being grinded on. And also, just like in his last fight, he looked really good early, and then he really started to get tagged with their own counters once he started to tire a little bit, once the fight got going. So like he doesn't necessarily get punished for hanging in the pocket too long early, but he does late. So I think Pena is going to probably wear on him, start to land a little bit more as the fight goes on, and I expect Pena to win. But again, maybe this is one that you don't want in a parlay.
You're correct. Lapalus knocked him out. Aries FC 5 in April 2022.
Yeah.
So
it is a
look at
throwback.
Gumby go. And Gumby cannot resist fading a Canadian, so obviously he's going to take Pena. That's just the way the guy rolls. All right. Let's recap, and then we'll get you lightning around. He's got Pena, Mulenga. That's the only pick that differs from Tapology picks, in case you care. Magekha, that one's pretty close, so I think your pick and call there is good, at least according to the rest of the gens in Tapology. So you got Magekha, you got Mohamed, you got Laallam. All right, you got 6 other fights to choose from. Lightning round, Zap, Bam, Boom, Pow. Have you cooked up any other plays?
Yeah, 2 guys who are supposed to fight but fight different people are fighting each other on this card. I like Teo Odunjo. I mentioned him at the top of the show. He's now fighting Zawad. Odunjo is a guy who fought for Octagon and had some really close fights with some really good fighters. He's gritty in the clinch. So I like him in this fight. I'm also going to take Juarez D. I'm worried he'll be a massive favorite in this fight over Mandor, but I do think he's way better. So if that fight comes in anywhere near playable or something you could maybe throw into a parlay, that's a guy who I'm circling. So Juarez D and Teo Dunjo are my 2 lightning round picks.
Awesome. And I forgot to mention Alam's opponent, Khamidov, is coming in on short notice, and Gumby picked against him anyhow. So it all pans out. Everything worked out fine. All right, you all are all set for at least for the first UAE Warriors. They're running back-to-back events, which shall be fun. So that will be tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, Discord is the place to be. sportsgamblingpockets.com/Discord. Our comments on YouTube are always popping as well. That's another good place to be. That would be MMA Gambling Podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check out all our videos. Get those numbers up for us. We appreciate it. SGPN MMA is the place to be on X. He's at Gummy Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer there and on Instagram. Get in my Substack. Enter my pick'em contest that I run every week. At the very least, do that. But you can also get a subscription and unlock all the rest of my MMA writing. A lot of it's gambling centric, so it may be right up your sleeve. So check out Money MMA at Substack.com and Substack.com. Gumby's got Top Turtle MMA podcast. Who is on it this week? Do we know at this early juncture?
Yeah, we're going to talk to Carlos Diego Fajeda, who is fighting at UFC 311. Nice. And I've got a little special interview from LFA 200. The Goozy is going to be on Top Turtle this weekend. Alvin Goozy Hines. So make sure you tune into that.
Strictly because of the nickname, I assume. The Goozy.
I mean, I love his fight team. I don't know if I've told you this, and I'm gushing about LFA fight team. But it's Thomas Peterson from the UFC, Stephen Asplund, who we love from LFA. Alvin Goozy Hines is on that team, and then
I remember you telling me about these guys. Yeah,
Kelton Sneeve too, who's a smaller guy.
Sneeve, what a name! Kelton Sneeve. That's rough.
Goozy and Sneeze.
The Goozy. So he goes. Oh, he's the Goozy.
I think he's Goozy. I think it's just Goozy. He's going to tell you why he's called Goozy. So stay tuned.
Gozie, Goozy.
Yeah, Goozy.
Nice. It's going to be a doozy of an interview, right? With the Goozy. All right.
Yeah, it's good.
No more dad jokes. Let's get out of here. Mothership. Make sure you support the Mothership. sportsgamblingpockets.com. That's where we emanate from. You can also finds all our writing there. Gumby and I are basically we're keeping that site running, Gumby, with our daily articles. We there's lots of articles, actually. Lots of articles, lots of different writers.
You could have gotten 10-1 on Jamie Jaquez Jr. to score the first bucket on Saturday if you read my article.
Tommy Jaquez Jr. I added him back to my fantasy team. I cut him. I've added him back. I'm giving him another shot. So good. Gumby is killing it on the first basket. He does his research. It's not just Gumby, not just, making gut calls here. Of course, there's tons of writing, lots of NFL writing as well. I'm even covering football. Imagine that. So that's sportsgamblingpockets.com. We're at the sportsgamblingpockets.com/Patreon if you want more bonus content. Why wouldn't you want more bonus content? And sportsgamblingpockets.com/store so you can dress like me. The shirt, the hat. I think that's it currently. Yes. The shirt and the hat. That's enough. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Hercules Fox, King Cobra, Vreeland. We'll talk to you then.